Alright, so this is going to be my review of Darth Vader Return of the Handmaidens. This is part of the Greg Pak run of the Darth Vader series. Quite literally the only Star Wars ongoing I'm collecting as a whole. Mostly because it's Vader, and the other comics kind of are varying degrees of success. Although I have heard that Alyssa Wong's Afra is really good. I haven't picked up the Bounty Hunter books, mostly because I have no care for that character Valance, that cyborg guy. Whenever he shows up, I literally go, ugh. Because he's such a fucking... It's like even in way back when he was first introduced in Target Vader, I was literally reading this character like, you are trying really hard to be the next Afra, and that's not working. But yeah. I still haven't read Star Wars The Hidden Empire. I don't know if I will be getting it or Chris will be sending it to me, but yeah. I do want to complete the Kira trilogy. I really want to complete it because while I did like War of the Bounty Hunters, Crimson Reign really sucked. But I still want to see the trilogy through and finish it with Hidden Empire. Anyway, so let's enough about that. Let's talk about this volume of Darth Vader. So if you guys remember, just for catch-up, Darth Vader has recently encountered Sabe, who is Padme's body double from Phantom Menace. It's the one played by Keira Knightley. Her and the other handmaidens had sworn an oath to kill Darth Vader because they believe he murdered Padme, which is kind of true, but really it was more like the losing the will to live, but he did force choke her near to death, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so Vader and Sabe have recently united together, and Sabe reveals that she knows that Vader is Anakin. Now, this volume picks up after that, after the events of Crimson Reign and all the other shenanigans, for lack of a better word, that have occurred throughout this series, and now they're on a new adventure together with the Handmaidens, who have been working with Ochi of Bestoon, who's an assassin working for Vader. Remember, that's also the guy who killed, who will one day kill Rey's parents. I don't know if we will see that in this comic. I don't know if we will get that if they've already done it in another book. I genuinely don't know. But yeah. So what is so yeah, this comic has been kind of a thing of it does a lot but really doesn't give you much at the same time. And don't get me wrong, this is still like a solid series. I will say that it is of the weakest of the Vader comics. And it's funny too because like how I would rank them is how they've been done release-wise. Is like Karen Gillan's Vader run was the GOAT. Like Karen Gillan's Darth Vader run was the GOAT of these Vader comics. Like it was not just a good Star Wars comic, it was a great Marvel comic in general. Salvador Larroca's artwork hasn't aged well, but I think the writing does way better. I think the writing saves it. What's his name? Charles Soule's Vader run feels like a video game at some points, but I think it does have a it's more action centric, and the artwork's really great. And I think it has one of the most solid endings to any of the Vader comics. It definitely has like a solid ending to that era. This has just been kind of like, yeah, it's run longer because most of them have run to 4 to 5 volumes. That we are now on volume 6, and volume 7 will be coming out in October. But yeah, so this has been the longest running of the Vader comics. But getting back to on point is that the Handmaidens, alongside Ochi, have devised a plan to get Sabe away from Vader. Sabe herself has been basically sent to go deal with Jul Tambor, who is the grandson of Wat Tambor, the head of the Techno Union, and the guy Vader killed. It also is said that Vader also killed Wat Tambor's son. Remember, like I said, it's Jul. So he's killed Wat Tambor, and then he killed Wat Tambor II, and they don't reference where he killed them. Does anyone know where he killed Wat Tambor's son? Because I'm like, I don't remember that in any Vader comic. I genuinely don't remember which Vader comic that was, or even if it was in a Vader comic. I genuinely don't know. But they don't give a reference to it. I'm like, you can't just I know I'm not crazy. They had to have done that and shown that. But anyway, so yeah. So Jewel Tambor is back on the head of the planet of the Techno Unit, and Sabe is trying to, like, protect Jewel because he's, like, the head of a Techno Union that is trying to be not so much a rebellion, but more like trying to protect the planet, and Tambor is trying to protect and kill Vader, but also save his people. And Sabe is trying to walk a line between, you know, incurring Vader's wrath and also trying to save Anakin. The Handmaidens themselves don't really have a lot to do. They're briefly given character arcs, like, not even character arcs, character descriptions, and that's by the fourth issue. This is a 5-issue story arc. So really, the Handmaidens are just there to kind of, like, be a crisis for Sabe, and that's really it. The action's really solid, though. The fight between the Maidens and Vader is really good. But it's always clear that Vader's one step ahead of them. I do like... The big strength of this comic is Sabe, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, by the way. I don't know, like, Sabe's relationship with Vader is the big draw of this series. Like, and this comic really, like, delves deeper into their connection. It draws deeper into their connection. It draws deeper into what the two of them are trying to accomplish. They're both trying to bring peace and order, and Sabe is trying to honor Padme's memory. But it's because, like, she's trying to walk the line and see, like, is Anakin really gone or not? Like, that's the thing that's always playing in her mind, is like, am I just doing this, like, to save Anakin, or am I doing this because I failed Padme and this is just me punishing myself? So that's kind of and that's the big draw of this series going forward. I especially love the part where Vader and Sabe go to meet Palpatine, and Vader, like, picks her up with the Force and, like, starts throwing her around, and she goes, Anakin, and Palpatine's just like, you really think that name holds any weight on Vader now? If it didn't then, what makes you think you can help? And I really do like that, and Vader is kind of, like, Vader's, like, inwardly trying to also figure out what is to be done with Sabe, and is he just, like, trying to make up for killing Padme all those years ago? So, it's still a good book. It's still, the Greg Pak series is still good. The next volume I'm excited for because it's involving the return of Dr. Aphra along with BT-8 and 000. So I'm very excited to see where they will go in terms of, like, having the old gang back. And hopefully Greg Pak can really, like, have those characters play off of each other again. Yeah. If you're a Vader fan, I still say pick this up. This has been a pretty good series. I have always enjoyed Greg Pak's writing, but it is definitely the weakest of the 3 Vader ongoings that have been out. But yeah, so yeah, I'd say if you've been keeping up with the Vader comics, I'd say keep going. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this review. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.